For those of you who watched my Spider-Man Homecoming reaction video, this is sort of a continuation of that. And for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet, it's kind of a spoiler. So, heads up on that. Watch at your own risk, I guess. Said about comic books on Instagram, you should, and I will put a link to his profile in the description below. But he makes some good points about the movies, which people seem to throw a fit about for some reason. And one of the things was the scene where Peter is under the rubble, and he's almost blacking out because he's been exhausted. You know, he's been fighting all day, and like, yeah, he had a shit day. Like, he had almost as bad a day as Aaron from Attack on Titan did. Like, this single interval of like 24 hours was just like sucky, and I don't know what my hair is doing right now. It was a really emotional scene. I actually teared up quite a bit. Like, I nearly broke down. The only thing that kept me from breaking down is because, like, throughout the whole movie, this creepy dude sitting next to me was, like, inching closer and closer and closer and closer. It really freaked me out. That's what I get for saying bless you to people and being polite. Oh, well. Anyway, so a lot of people threw a fit saying that that was just a traumatization and that it shouldn't have been in there and it wasn't true to the comic books and, like, where the fuck would that have ever happened and all that. Well, Upset About Comic Books, one of the posts that he did was he was talking about how that really was a scene in the comic books, and he talked about how it was one of his favorite scenes and how it was so emotional. And he put the panels to it on his post, you know, and then with that sort of like slideshow motion, I'm not sure what the actual technical term is on Instagram, but you know, when you can swipe through multiple pictures in a single post. And, you know, he makes a lot of good points like that. The other point that he made that I came across that I really enjoyed was the Iron Spider. For those of you who don't really read the comic books, I'm not even too far in them myself. You know, I did a paper on Spider-Man for a Composition 2 class, is how I learned a lot of it. And I got the Comixology app to get the Spider-Man crossover with Deadpool comic books. And I have a few issues from the 30th anniversary with Silver Sable among my collection. So, you know, I've read bits and pieces, but I'm not like the biggest, you know what I mean? I don't know everything. But I did flip the fuck out when the Iron Spider came out. It's a little disappointed they didn't actually say the term Iron Spider at all, but whatever, it works. But I guess a lot of people freaked out saying, oh, that's Tony doing his own design, and that wasn't really in the comic books. Why would you do that? You're changing Spider-Man's thing, and we already don't like this costume, and blah, blah, blah. You know what? People being that fucking pessimistic piss me off. And the main reason I get pissed off is that, how do I put this? You know how during the Marvel movie, it's like common sense that you're not supposed to leave right when the credits start rolling because there will be another clip? How many people actually get up when the credits start rolling? How many of those people do you think go home and bitch about this exact shit? You know, it's probably about the same grouping of people. As for the actual fans who actually sit through the credits and actually read the comic books and actually get into the fandom, like, for example, one of my sisters, because I seem to have a million of them, I got pissed off at her because before she ever even got into the Marvel fandom, she would watch other shit or whatever, and then she would buy Iron Man fandom gear, but she had never watched anything with Iron Man, never watched anything with the Avengers, nothing Marvel, nothing superhero, nothing anything. And when I made a comment about Stan Lee, when I started watching the movie, she asked me who Stan Lee was. You know, it's like those type of people that are getting pissed off about this sort of shit, you know, and saying that certain scenes didn't happen or this character shouldn't exist, and even throwing a fit about the diversity of the cast, which the diversity was one of the greatest things about this concept of Spider-Man. This version of MJ is without a doubt my favorite. Like, she did an amazing job. She is the most relatable MJ I've ever seen on screen. So, kudos. And I think Tom Holland is doing an amazing job. You know, I've come across a ton of people that criticize his work saying he's too goofy or too weird. Just like, you know what? Every actor is going to be critiqued in some way. You know, like Tobey Maguire, he didn't really separate the personalities any. Like, Spider-Man wasn't really any different from Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield was one of those cool, sassy nerds or whatever that was picked on but wasn't really picked on, and it didn't fit Peter's whole school life at all. You know, Tom Holland, like, his Spider-Man might be younger, and it might not show his origin story, but how many fucking times do we have to sit through Ben getting shot? You know what I mean? So I think this concept of Spider-Man was an amazing job, and I think that what they included for the MCU was amazing, you know? So I am doing this video to give a shout out to Upset About Comic Books and his absolute devotion to the fandom and the way that he phrased it so well. Like, he didn't just flat out say, you guys are stupid and blah, 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 blah. He actually backs up his stuff with facts, with panels, with examples. So I will be sending a link of his account in the description below. I'll also put a link to my Instagram just in case you guys want it. Fuck, I mostly just go on there and post fan art and shit. So I don't know why anybody would. But just in case. Anyway, I would recommend checking his channel out. I would recommend looking for fans like this that actually are into, you know, getting the details instead of criticizing every little thing. The thing about being a fan is you have to be willing to appreciate other concepts. Even if you aren't totally into it, you have to have some respect for it. Like, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but I respect the Star Wars fandom, okay? It takes a lot of talent to be able to make a story concept and make it last like George Lucas has. And Disney might own it now, but it's still just as popular as it's ever been. You know, you need to have respect for each other's nerdiness. That's why conventions are so awesome. Anyway, peace guys, later.